welcome back to another video. As always, if you haven't, please consider subscribing and hitting the like button so we can game that YouTube algorithm which suppresses content like this in favor of mainstream lies. A little bit different format today, guys. I am recording this video the morning of the post, so it's like 6:40 a.m., which means it's going to take a little bit longer. Probably get it out 30 or 40 minutes past the usual time. But I'm starting to honestly I'm like having a challenge coming up with what I want to talk about. You know, something about the daily content means that I've got to have ideas that are fresh. Otherwise, I'm going to be repeating myself very often. And it's kind of like a diary, you know? Like, I'm going to have to start telling you guys about what I'm doing in my life, which I have been, and what's the things that bother me, which I do. But yesterday I was just like finding it really hard at the evening to figure out what to talk about, and I'm realizing that the best time for me to do these videos is in the morning when I'm getting caffeinated, because that's when I'm the most hyped up and energized. And I'm going to talk about my weekend, but I actually got into a really good book, which I'll tell you guys about in a second. But I wanted to also tell you that America is so fucked. It's very, very apparent now, if you guys didn't already know, that the people with the most power in this country is the mainstream media. We had yet another incident of, you want to call it police violence, though this one was completely justified, but the mainstream media has managed to spin it. And now, I guess it was Atlanta. I don't even know. Like, all these towns are the same to me now. Let's see. Let's do a quick search. We had another idiot fucking resist the cops. He was a jogger. He resisted the police. And he tried to grab a police officer's taser, and he did, and he got shot and killed for it. So this is not George Floyd. This is, I guess, Rayshard Brooks. He literally was not minding. I mean, he was minding his own business apparently, but the cops came and bugged him about it. He tried to resist. He tried to grab a cop's taser and got killed. I don't understand what is wrong with these people. If the police are coming for me, I'll just put my hands behind my back and I'll have my day in court. Unless they try to take my kid away, I'm not going to do anything. Like, I don't understand these people. Like, I've been thinking about it. Like, they keep talking about, like, separating families during coronavirus. And if that ever happens, like, click, click, y'all are going down. Dude, you're not taking my kid. But, before then, I would gladly comply with the police. I don't understand what is wrong with these people. Yes, if you reach for a cop's weapon, be it taser or gun, you will get shot and killed. Anyhow, Atlanta is now burning and rioting. We have more riots happening here in where I live, the other side of the country. Freeways are completely blocked. It's like, is this gonna even stop in November? Like November 3rd, when the election happens here in the United States, is this even going to stop? Is this going to be an election year fluke like it was in 2016, or is this just going to go on forever until the United States is done? Like, I seriously don't see how we come back from this. Anything anyone does to a black person will now be put on the news by the mainstream media. There will be articles run by 24/7 until more people get hurt and killed. It turns out that I didn't even know this, but so I live in a pretty big liberal city, and the mayor happens to live like 5 blocks from me. I didn't even know it. And she had hundreds of people gathered outside her house yesterday. And dude, they're only like 5 blocks away. Of course, it's mostly white idiots. Thankfully, it wasn't the hoodlums, the joggers from my city. It was the white idiots who support them. but it's getting real close to home. Real close. I don't like it one bit. We're doing our best to try to get out of here and move, but you guys got to understand that the real estate and the rentals are flying off the shelves. Like, for us to do it, I'm pretty much going to have to ask my partner, my girlfriend, and I'm going to have to tell my work that we need 2 weeks off so we can fully focus 8 hours a day on moving. It's very hard. Like I told you in a previous video, other families are filling out applications, they're getting pre-approved for loans, and they are doing everything you do without even seeing the place where they're going to probably be moving to. People are not dumb. Nobody wants to live where the police are not going to exist. What we're going to get when the police quit, because they're quitting, we're going to get politically activated commissars. And I am not going to bend the knee to a commissar, guys. I'm going to fight. It's going to be bad. And I'm going to make sure my kid gets to safety first. Once he's safe, I may just come back and handle shit. I don't like this one bit where things are going here. It's clear to me that obviously that the powers that be are trying to tear America apart, and they're succeeding. And it was inevitable. Hashtag the inevitable. These multicultural societies do not work. Homogeneity is the only way to be. Europe is going to fight back, and so is America. And something tells me that this was planned from the get-go. I'm starting to think the powers that be want middle-class whites to go on a rampage. Like, almost like they want to push them to the brink so that we can start a whole new genocide. I have no idea what they're doing. But it's terrible. And it's pretty clear that segregation had its place. We've had 60 years of zero segregation, and it's not working out. It's just not working out. So anyway, that's my weekend rant. It is Monday morning, but I did want to tell you a couple things. You guys got a voiceover update from me yesterday. I won't talk really about that. There's kind of two things that I'm focused on other than fitness and health. One is I am trying to learn how to produce music, and it's actually somewhat challenging, but even with an easier tool like Fruity Loops Studio, I used to use something called Ableton Live, but Ableton's harder in my opinion. I suck at Fruity Loops, guys. I'm terrible. Like, I really, really don't know how to set up drums. So I'm doing like tons of tutorials, and there are some really, really good producers on YouTube. So that's like one thing I'm focused on. My goal is to have a whole other YouTube channel completely dedicated to my production, my synthwave beats. I love synthwave, guys. It's like my favorite genre of music these days. The other thing I wanted to tell you is that I started a book last week, and I love it. The thing is, if you've heard me talk about books, I typically don't read fiction. This is definitely fiction. That book is a fantasy book. When I say fantasy, think like Lord of the Rings, like orcs and elves and dwarves. But it's an interesting book because the author takes kind of like that Tolkien style fantasy stuff and mixes it in with almost kind of like a European history. You've got like something akin to a Roman Empire, something akin to a French group, something akin to Vikings, mixed with magic and elves and dwarves. And a lot of you guys probably know what I'm talking about, and that is A Throne of Bones by Vox Day. And it is really good. Also, it's really long. I'm finding myself whipping out my Kindle and like reading it when I have free time, even though I should be doing something else. So it's one of those books that I'm having a really hard time putting down. And I will do a proper review, but it's going to take me a long time to get through it. I mean, I've been reading it for hours, and I think I'm only 20% in. So going to take me a while, but if you guys like books, and even if you don't, I'd recommend A Throne of Bones by Vox Day. We'll talk a little bit more about that when I get closer to the end or just finish it. But tell me if you guys like this format and if you notice a difference, because right now I am recording in the morning. It is 6:40 my time in the morning. And with that, have a great day. Take care.